This is Doug Pinter on Daily Energy. We got Steve Minear with Stanley Steamer in house.
Hello.
Good morning, Steve. What's going on?
A little bit of the usual,
Craziness?
Yeah, not too heavy right now. It's kind of a slower period of time. Not by much, but just enough to catch our breath a little bit.
Well, I see Stanley Steamer vehicles run all over Peoria. Know you guys have been dealing with a lot of basements getting flooded.
Yep.
Pipes bursting. People didn't find out about that over the winter. Now they're coming home from their summer residence and dealing with some issues. So
Yep.
We'll talk a little bit about how people can get a hold of you and your crew.
Okay.
If they need any of your assistance on getting dried up, cleaned up, get that basement dried out and fixed up. I know you guys also do the construction part as well. So we'll cover that and much more. We got Cubs and Cards starting in 7 days.
It's coming.
It's unbelievable. Hey, my name's Doug Pinter on Daily Energy. Again, Steve, our guest in-house. Just want to talk a little bit this month, National Cerebral Palsy Month. And it's cool. We've made a friend, Rocco.
Yeah.
And Rocco's a young gentleman. He just turned about 5 years old. And he has cerebral palsy, but that does not define who he is. This young guy is a joy to be around. We're going to show a video here in just a moment of Rocco and what a lot of businesses are doing, and I appreciate Stanley Steamer and you and my buddy Mark Hoagland getting involved to help make this young guy's day.
Anything we can do.
I know not only Stanley Steamer, but the Peoria Chiefs, the Bradley Braves, the Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans. The list goes on of companies and businesses, big and small, from around the United States, reaching out to help Rocco. What the mission of Rocco is to spend time with them. We're not asking for any monetary donations. If you want to learn more about Rocco and his story, you can go to front9foundation.com. Again, that's front9foundation.com, and learn about his story. Businesses getting to spend time with Rocco. You yourself will get to learn a little bit more about cerebral palsy, and that's the whole idea is Rocco's mom, Tori, and her husband, Sean, put a post out just wanting to educate the community. And boy, the community wants to learn more about Rocco. It's awesome to see people dropping us messages, wanting to get involved. If you and your business want to get involved, what you can do, monetary donations are accepted, but again, we're asking for your time. We want you or your staff just to spend a half hour, 4 hours, whatever the case may be, just to show him that the community in which he resides loves him and supports him. Not just him, but everybody in the community. And I guarantee Rocco will leave a stronger lasting impression on you than we will ever be able to leave with Rocco. With that being said, let's take a look at this video that my good friend Pat Clark Productions put together. If you want to roll that tape, Mike.
Rocco was diagnosed with left hemiplegia cerebral palsy when he was 13 months old. As soon as he was diagnosed, we got in with a team of doctors, his neurologist. He was in speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, all of which he's still in today. They told us because of the hemorrhage, he would have huge difficulty with walking to the point where he would need a wheelchair or a walker along with the brace that he wears on his leg. He's really exceeded all the expectations. He now runs, he plays, and we're ecstatic about the progress that he's made so far.
Jan, this is our friend Rocco. Come on, pal.
So what we're doing is teaming up with area businesses, and they are going to be providing their services and their time. Rocco is going to be receiving something special every single month, and we are also wanting the community to get involved in a small but profound way. So we are creating t-shirts with Rocco's logo on it. The proceeds for the t-shirts are going into a fund for the family. And once you have those t-shirts, we ask that you take a short little video or a photo with some encouraging words for Rocco and sharing it on social media. If you would like to team up with us and donate an item or your service, email us at roccosninjas@gmail.com. If you would like to do a monetary donation, you can do so at front9foundation.com. Just head over to the donation tab and leave Rocco's name in the message box.
I just want to say it's incredible what Anytime Fitness is doing for cerebral palsy awareness, and myself and I know my entire family is extremely grateful.
This is for you and your family. You get a lifetime membership here for the rest of your life. So right there, that's our good friend Rocco. I mean, if that doesn't get your Friday started off, if you're not smiling at your desk right now, I don't know what's wrong with you. That's a good video right there. So again, Rocco bringing him on board, and Stanley Steamer stepped up to the plate. So many others. Couple things you saw there in the video. Want to give a big shout out to our friends at the Peoria Civic Center for setting Rocco and his family up. They were able to go down and enjoy the IHSA basketball this past weekend down there. Cool. Everything was just super nice for the family. So a big shout out to the Peoria Civic Center for helping my friends out. And then my friend Tyler McCoy. You saw the badges being flashed around the video. It was pretty cool. I called Tyler and I told him maybe 5 total words, and he goes, "Count us in. We're in. We're in." And that packet was on my desk the very next morning. So, wow. Tyler, to all the brave men and women out there protecting Peoria, thank you. You made that guy's day. And we look forward to seeing more businesses come on board. Again, that video pretty much says it all. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about our Cub Cards. And I know you're a Colorado Rockies fan. Yep. So let's just dive right in. Cardinal fans, I know last year I wasn't very kind to many Cardinal fans. I think Cardinals are going to run into the same issues that they've been facing the past 3 years, and that is pitching. Right. The closing position, Matheny, he says that's up in the air right now. They have a lot of talent in the bullpen. It's just who wants it, who can perform consistently, day in and day out. It's a long season. Right. And Matheny even imagines that role being transferred over a handful of times throughout the season.
Rotate through a few guys.
Yeah, so the Cardinals are about to set a record. If they miss the playoffs, that'll be 3 straight years this century that they've missed the playoffs, setting a new record for them. The Cardinals did unload some players over the offseason. Piscotty is probably one of the famous ones. Lance Lynn is another. And then they rehauled their coaching staff, brought in Maddox and some others. Matheny, he's just trying to get the pieces of the puzzle put together. He was not able to really evaluate his bullpen over the spring pre-training. Right. Which doesn't make too much sense if he knows that's the area they got to work on, but obviously he knows what he's doing better than I. Martinez is great. He's not the shutdown pitcher that they were hoping he would be in years past. Again, he's an awesome pitcher. I would take him on the Cubs rotation in a heartbeat, but I think Martinez, they were looking for more of that lockdown pitching, get to that 20-win season a little bit more consistently than what he's been doing. He's had a rough spring training. He's been getting hit to left field, right field, all over the place. He says he's just got to get caught back up to the game speed, and once he gets synced in, he'll be fine.
Still early. There's a lot of those adjustments and tweaks and whatnot, so I think he'll probably do halfway decent, but I agree with you. I think the Cardinals are going to have a little bit of a rough season again this year, so.
And you know what? Martinez, at his worst, is still their best. Yeah. And I would take Martinez in a heartbeat. Mikolas, he's replacing Lynn, signed a 2-year deal for $15 million versus Lynn's 1-year deal. I think it was at $12 million, so that's a good buy for St. Louis. Wainwright, it's the last year of his deal. In spring training, they said his fastball's got a lot of pop to it. It's really rising. So, Wainwright, if he can stay healthy, I hope he stays healthy because I want to see how good this guy is. Right. And obviously, he's been with the Cardinal organization a long time. And my niece, Maisie, out there, Maisie, I love the Cardinals because you love them. I would like to see him finish, leave that legacy of that solid pitcher that was in St. Louis. And I'm hoping, praying that he has a heck of a season for the Cardinals. Yachty, with the first year of his extension, they're going to let him catch as many games as he wants. They said somewhere they're hoping he'll catch around 140 of the games. That's
a lot of time back there.
It's a lot of wear and tear, and he's been prone to injury over the past couple seasons. That thumb, ever since, what was it, 3-4 years ago, there's a play at the plate. He sprained his thumb. He's
Right.
continued to have some issues. It affected his batting back then. But again, he really earns his money batting and fielding. He's, in my opinion, the best catcher in baseball. He holds those runners tight to first. He's a heck of a player. Matt Carpenter, they were interviewing Matt about his batting average last year. It dipped down to about 240, and I think he had somewhere around 25 home runs. He was talking about trying to increase his launch angle. You know, that was a big talk, and they had the shot tracker behind home plate last year.
Right.
And they were trying to get him up into the 21, 22-degree launch angle to produce more home runs. But at the end of the year, when he saw he batted 240 with only 25 dingers, he goes, look up how many people had 25 home runs. There's a lot. So his impact by trying to hit home runs was not as great as what he had hoped. So this year he's getting back to the bread and butter, the grassroots, and he's going opposite field, working on hitting hard line drives and
Getting on the base.
yeah, he understands his role with the Cardinal organization is move those players around, get on the base, steal a base here and there,
Yep.
and put themselves in a better position because the home runs were far and few between last year. And again, that closing role, the bullpen, I'm anxious to see how that plays out early in the season. Will Matheny stick with a guy for 2, 3, 4 weeks? How quick will he be pulling people off that mound and moving them around? So that is yet to be determined. Let's enlighten the listeners out there. How are your Colorado Rockies looking for this upcoming season?
They're looking good. I mean, they re-signed Nolan back into the. I think that was last week that they made it official with his contract. So that's another good, bat behind the mound that loves to produce, and not a whole lot that you can say about that. But they spent a ton of money on the offseason on their pitching.
Yeah.
Their rotation. So that'll be interesting. Last year, a lot of people are calling it a fluke because, the majority of their pitching rotation was a bunch of rookies. And then, after the mid-season break, a lot of the pitchers started getting caught and see what happens from there. So
Scouting reports are unbelievable.
yeah,
On these players nowadays.
It's amazing how they can just pick people apart, left and right. And
I tell you what, Colorado had the bats rolling last
Yep.
year. I mean, the elevation, yeah, I get that, but I really think Colorado, they have the bats. They can put the runs on the board, yes. If the pitching can stay down in the strike zone, I know last year they had some guys hanging some breaking balls up in the zone, and those will get taken for a ride. You ever get out to Denver to watch a game?
when I used to live out there, I went out to Coors Field a lot, and I mean it's a beautiful park.
Oh.
They just spent a ton of money on their game board and the TV screen. I think I saw something like 6,000 square feet now
Is that all
for
it
the
is?
screen. Yeah,
My
782 60-inch televisions up on the
Oh, boy, if my son could only play that one new game that's a big hit. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
It's on the Xbox One. But that stadium right downtown, I thought it would be off on the edge of town. That's right downtown. That's a good party street leading right up to the stadium.
Lodo is amazing. I mean, just the atmosphere around the park is beautiful. When they built Coors Field down there, that wasn't exactly the best part of town, and they stripped a lot of that out. Built up the stadium, put in all the restaurants and bars right there, and it's completely changed the atmosphere. And you go a couple blocks down the road, and you're at the Pepsi Center. So,
Yeah, that's a wonderful town. If you haven't been out there and you want to catch an awesome game, know you can always get seats, which
Yep.
that doesn't make sense. It's a good ball club. They should be selling more tickets. But when the Cubs are out there, that might be a good opportunity for us to get out and catch a game or something.
Agreed.
Maybe we'll have Stanley Steamer set us up on that.
There we go.
Let's talk a little bit about my Cubbies. I'm excited. You, Darvish. 7 strikeouts over 6 innings the other day. 3 hits. He gave up 3 hits, a solo home run. Boy, he's really finding his groove on the mound early in the season. I know, again, it's early, but I think his little stutter step, if you will, in his approach. The other day he said he almost fell over. He was that unbalanced, and he threw it for a strike, and he called it the best pitch of the day. It threw the batter off. I had to go to Sports Center and check it out. The batter was like getting ready to step out of the box. That's how unbalanced Yu Darvish was. And then he just fired that bad boy right down the center for a strike 3 call. He's got good carry on the low fastball, the slider. People are walking out of the box. This is a quote from Madden. and the players are saying that's unhittable. So, again, the scouting reports, I think it will catch up to Darvish as these, Cardinals, Brewers continue to play them. I think they're probably already proactive on that approach.
Right.
I think Darvish will be a good maybe 15-game winner for the Cubs, 15 to 18-game winner. He'll be the second in rotation right behind John Lester. John Lester gets game ball for opening day. John Lester, everybody, working on his throw over to first base. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, his little skip throw to first.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but at least he's getting it over there now, right? I mean, 2
Yeah.
years ago, you guys were all unhappy because, he wasn't even attempting to keep runners on the base, and now at least he's
So now
skipping
we're-
it there. I mean,
We're
it's getting there.
ski-balling it over there. Now
mean,
we're doing that.
It's better than just letting them take off and do whatever they want.
How does a professional athlete who has pinpoint accuracy with fastballs, curveballs, sliders cannot throw to first base? How can you not throw it over to Rizzo? Just step off the mound and lob it over there.
And it's not even that it has to be pinpoint when it gets to first. It just has to be close.
Just keep the runners closer. The average last year, the runners were over a foot closer to second base on Lester than any other pitcher on the Cubs organization. Thank goodness we had Contreras behind the plate. I mean, this guy's a loose
He's got an
cannon.
arm.
He's a loose cannon. But, yeah, he will help hold those runners over at first. I think this season, with the limited mound appearances that catchers can do, Contreras already said that rule doesn't apply to me. You can find me whatever you want. My goal is to take care of the team and call the game the way it needs to be called.
Yep.
So, and Madden's saying Contreras will be behind the plate 5-6 days a week. So that ought to be interesting to watch that
Be
unfold.
playing that whole season, though, with all the fines he'll get without a paycheck. But,
Maybe the Cubs organization will pitch in some of those pitchers.
help pay a little bit of it.
Yeah, so Darvish, I was doing a little research on Darvish. He actually has a blog, and it's pretty interesting. This guy, not only can he pitch right-handed, he can also pitch left-handed. He got injured with the right hand, so he had to figure out how to throw left-handed. He also figured out how to bat left-handed. He said this year he thinks he will be batting from the right batter's box. So he brings just one more versatile position. If
Right.
he gets up there lefty or a righty pitcher, he might be able, hopefully, lay down at least a sacrifice bunt here or there. Heyward, he's still a question mark in my book. I mean, I love having Heyward, the ex-Cardinal player, on the team. He makes some incredible catches in the outfield, but, I mean, it's a disaster at the plate. It's an absolute disaster. Hopefully they were working a little bit more during the offseason on that approach. So Hap, he is just on fire right now. He's actually looking at taking over the leadoff role for the Cubs. He's been doing the leadoff role for the preseason games, and
Yep.
he is just on fire right now. He's batting over .333, and Madden has no intentions of moving him out of that position.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Hendricks, he's coming off strep throat. He threw the other day, 105 pitches. Guess it was a solid outing. Madden said it was one of his better outings that he's seen Hendricks throw. Can't tell with this guy. He's just got the poker face on 24/7.
Right.
Pedro Strop, I don't know if this is good or bad, but he's coming back off a calf strain, so he's back. He'll be healthy for opening day. And Jose Quintana, he gave up 2 runs in 9 1/3 innings. So if the Cubs, last year I was extremely nervous about the health of the rotation just because
Right.
of the longevity of the World Series run. I think the Cubs figured out how to deal with all of that. They're back to being healthier. Zobrist, I think he only took 6-7 days off after last season, and he started back in. He really is working on his hitting, overall fielding, help give some guys a day off here and there, much-needed rest. He'll be able to play third, second, short, left. So another great player. Hopefully he'll continue to swing the bat well.
Right.
Steve with Stanley Steamer in-house this morning. Going to talk a little bit about some of the calls you guys are getting. What's the most common thing now that the weather is getting better, minus the 3 to 10 inches of snow coming tomorrow?
We're kind of hitting that season where we're starting to get a lot of different styles of calls, whether that's, people with the great weather deciding to turn on, the hose outside, finding out that they had pipes that had cracked and busted throughout the winter, or, you have because of all this massive amount of rain, the sub pumps are failing and they haven't checked them out. And, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we got, 3 inches of rain in about 48 hours.
Yeah.
Majority of the calls we got off of that were just sub pump failures. The first big hit that the systems are getting in of the year. And, so it's a lot of mixtures of things going on. We've had a lot of sewer backups. The biggest issue with those, and a lot of people on their insurance policies only have the $5,000 rider, and when it comes to water damages, $5,000 doesn't go very far, especially if it's a sewer backup or things of that nature, because there's a lot more risk when it comes to viruses and bacteria and all the other good stuff that comes out of the sewer. So, if you don't have it, I would definitely recommend increasing that portion of your policy, because $5,000 goes out real quick, and then things happen and you end up paying a lot more money out of pocket than what you wanted.
So when your guys' phones start ringing, how do you manage all of the chaos? I mean, I just picture people running everywhere in your yellow vans and like, do we have the vacuum? Who cares? Let's go.
No, I mean, we've got a set of solid crews that are all certified through what's called IICRC, so they know what to do when they get out to houses. The ladies in the office, they're really intelligent and really smart, and definitely
super friendly too.
Yeah, super friendly. They're really good at scheduling and being blatantly honest as far as hey, it might be an hour, we can get you right away, and we just manage it the best we can. Especially 2 weeks ago with all that rain, we had calls coming in left and right, and we didn't really have any real big hiccups or anything. It went real smooth. And the guys did their best to definitely help as many people as we possibly could.
And if you're looking at, if you have some water damage and you're looking at a company, Stanley Steamer, they came out, they helped me with my basement. They saw it all the way through from start to finish, and even the construction side, because we did have to replace some of the basement wall because the water crept up there. And what I really enjoyed about the process is I spoke to you. It's not 5 different people involved. I actually had your cell phone number, and if I had a question, I called you directly. And for the most part, you or one of your colleagues were out every day to check the fans, just answer any questions I may have had. Probably slow talked you guys to death, but you guys are super friendly. You're very conscious when you go into people's homes that it's their home.
Right.
And I love how you guys not only take care of the mess, fix it up, but then you clean it up, and when you leave, it's back to brand new.
Well, and I mean, that's the whole goal of the situation, whether it's going through insurance or out of your pocket, is get you back to pre-loss condition. If you're filing a claim, we're going to do everything we can in our capabilities and within our range to try to make you as comfortable as possible. I try to make it so that every claim that we end up going to, that I have that face-to-face with that person. My phone's on me, 24 hours a day. It sometimes never stops ringing, but I'll definitely do everything within my power to answer any questions that people have when it comes to that.
Yeah, one thing, Steve, that I appreciate with you is when my mudroom flooded and my daughter's room was right next door.
Yep.
I mean, there was water running through my ceilings, through my can lights, and you were like, no big deal. And you even assured my daughter, don't worry, it's not going to get into your room. It won't ruin anything of hers. And, her teddy was safe and all that. I mean, that's when I was like, you guys are much more than just Stanley Steamer. You guys get it.
Yep.
And you have kids yourself.
Oh, I've got 4 kids, so, I understand a lot of that. To us, it's, might not be that big of a deal, but to you, it's your home.
Yeah.
It's your castle. It's what you've invested a lot of money in. And if it's something small to us, it's still a catastrophe to you. So, we definitely do our best to try to make you guys feel as comfortable as possible as well during the situation.
I love how that vision is never lost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's every time I've worked with you guys on whatever the case may be, it's always a very positive experience. So kudos to you and your crew over at Stanley Steamer. I thought of you guys the other day. I was getting ready to power wash my garage. I like a good clean garage and all the salt over the winter. And I turned the hose on. I unhooked my hose over the winter. I heeded your warning. All right, so the pipes wouldn't freeze. Washed out my garage, squeegeed it, got it back to where I wanted it, and then I was like, I better go unhook that hose because the temperatures are still dipping down at night.
Yep.
And it's just a nice friendly reminder from our friends over at Stanley Steamer. Nice weather coming out. If you're fertilizing, watering your yard, getting the sprinklers out, make sure you're making sure that you turn those valves off, unhooking the hose, because it's still getting cool at night.
Right. I mean, we have another storm coming in this weekend where they're calling for several inches of rain, plus, depending on which channel you watch, anywhere from trace amounts of snow to 3 to 6 inches. So I think it's still a lot up in the air on what we're going to get out of it, but it accumulates fast, and it'll hit you in a hurry if you're not ready for it.
So my good friend Jeff Bach was just in studio. I noticed how he ducked out. Jeff, I'm calling you out right now. He still has not bought me lunch on that Super Bowl bet. I believe you and I might have a lunch bet that needs to be settled.
The problem is I can never get you because you're such a busy person working on so many different things for other people.
Come on now. Hey, let's double up on this. All right, let's cover the NCAA real quick. Everyone's brackets are busted. This is the best NCAA tournament. CBS would probably agree. The ratings are sky high. I like watching the underdog. I think everybody, maybe not everybody, but most people enjoy seeing the underdog succeed. It gives hope for the program. I think these programs getting the extra TV time and the coaches and the staff and just the stories behind each of these collegiate athletes is very dynamic, and I just thoroughly am enjoying the NCAA tournament. Last night, you got Kansas State down in Kentucky, 61-58. Loyola Chicago squeaks out with a 1-point win over Nevada. Texas A&M is down big time by Michigan, almost putting up 100 points. Florida State takes out Gonzaga. More drama for Gonzaga, saying that conference is weak, they're overrated, etc. Tonight, we got West Virginia, Villanova. Who you taking?
That's an interesting one. I'd probably say Villanova.
All right, I like that. I'll take Villanova as well. Now we have Texas Tech and Purdue. Purdue -2. Who do you like? Half-hour show.
Yeah, Purdue.
Probably. Purdue?
Yeah.
Dang it. I'm kind of pulling for Texas Tech. I can't
I want
divulge.
to, but at the same point, I think the smart bet is saying Purdue on that one.
Syracuse Duke. Duke -11.5. Cuse, no rookie to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think if you're going to have an upset tonight, it might be that one.
Got to be kidding me. Syracuse isn't going to score over 50 points.
You don't think
and
so?
I'll put lunch on that.
Over 50 points?
Over 50 points.
So it's not even the win or lose, it's 50 points.
They're going to
All
lose.
Right, we'll
it's
go with 50 points.
Everyone saw that right there. So we'll double up on that lunch wager. Sound fair?
Sounds good.
And then we got Clemson and Kansas. I didn't even know Clemson had a basketball team. That's very rude of me. But Kansas is -5. Who are you going with in that?
I'll take Kansas.
All right. And who do you have as your NCAA championship?
Well, that ended a long time ago. I think, Arizona was one of the favorites. I think if you go now, maybe Michigan. I don't know. It's one of those years. What you got?
I'm taking Villanova.
You're
I
taking
cannot
Villanova?
root for Michigan. Jeff Bach, my whole family's Michigan fans. The whole state of Michigan are Michigan fans. I mean, it's just ludicrous out there.
It works out for me because, like I said, being born and raised in Colorado, big CU fan. However, they're not in it, so I can root for whoever I want. So
yeah, that's a good point. It's pretty country, isn't it? Hey, we got Steve with Stanley Steamer coming in-house. Again, thank you to Stanley Steamer getting on board to change Rocco's life, spend some time, and make his day, as well as all of our friends, Mr. McCoy, Peoria Civic Center, Charbel Rantisi, Lowe's. I mean, the list goes on of all these companies getting involved. If you and your company want to get involved and make a difference in Rocco's life, if you want to learn more, a little bit more about Rocco and his story, hop over to thefront9foundation.com or tune back to the front of the show, and we highlighted Rocco on the video. Steve, thanks for making a difference in the community and being a positive ray of light. So I will be rooting for
Villanova. Oh, no, you're going with Duke tonight.
Syracuse. Everyone tramp up, score 49. That's what I'm taking. Doug Pinter on Daily Energy with my buddy Steve Minear in house. Have a great weekend, everybody.
PeoriaLife.com